What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review a collaboration mixtape between Birdman and Juvenile. Basically, this product is called Just Another Gangsta, and it came out in the spring of 2019. So the thing about this particular product here is new era trap was starting to manifest as far as these fairs going to happen within the aspect of it. Now, Juvenile had dropped a number of projects, but he kind of dissipated after like the early mid-2010s as far as this fair is going to happen. Last I checked, I remember he dropped an album called Rejuvenation in like 2012, and I think he dropped an album in 2014, but he just was not stacking up the hits as much full bound the way he was like in the 2000s and 90s within pitches like that. But it's just kind of the pitch. I've continued to fuck with Juvenile. I fucked with a lot of these. I remember Beast Mode. I remember a mild bit of Rejuvenation. I remember Cocky and Confident from 2009 and Reality Check from 2006. I remember he was originally going to put out an album. It said on Juvenile's MySpace back in 2007 that he had an album that was going to come out, but it never did. And then I also recently reviewed like the 2004 album that he did with UTP as far as those pitch albums. So just a number of stuff with Juvenile. I'm pretty much almost done with Birdman stuff. I think this is the last Birdman album, not counting like the Jack Quees mixtapes that he hosted as far as those fairs going to happen. Jack Quees, the R&B singer, did a couple of mixtapes, like one in 2016, one in 2018, something like that. And Birdman was kind of like, Birdman did some hosting type things. He did that with like the Rich Gang projects and like the Rich Gang album, some of those type pitches. But this is at least one that Birdman's on more than a few times. Birdman also put out a 2021 album with NBA Youngboy, which I reviewed back in the fall of 2024. So it's within the pitch as far as saying it's the last Birdman project to get to unless he drops more down the road. But I'd have to say here it's pretty excellent type fair. This is like a virtual classic here, I'd say, within the impact of it. Just kind of off to the wayside, but still an impactful type product. Just a real snappy type one that's just kind of a surprise type hit within the product of what was going on with 2010's trap as far as this fair is going to happen. So it has a little bit on there in terms like if you're expecting like a Juvenile sized hit when you think of songs like Back That Ass Up or Rodeo or Slow Motion, some of those type ones, In My Life, some of those type of ones, and like Animal, some of Juvenile's biggest hits, some of those particular type ones within the appeal behind it, Pop You Out, I'd say it has the aspect, it has like the 2010s trap flavor within the pitch. I think, and there's some folks on here, like there's really not a super ton of information about this project. The only real guest that it denotes on here is NLE Choppa. The only real guest that it denotes off this album is NLE Choppa, but there's someone who sounds very similar to Young Thug that's on some songs on here, like the song Today, possibly From the Bottom, some of these type ones. More towards the end of the album, there's some other like new era type trap rappers that I think were kind of not necessarily Rich Gang full bound affiliates, but just within the product of what Birdman was up to between like 2017 and 2019 as far as those first albums. So it's just kind of a pitch. And certainly in minor senses, it could almost be like a compilation, but Juvenile is at least on every single song, and Birdman's probably on more than 5 or 6 of these out of 12 as far as those first albums. So it's a good type pitch here. It's the product of just getting like an update within the format of what was particularly going on, but it's just a pretty bolstered type product. Definitely has some heavy hittingness within it, just within the tone. I think there were at least 3 singles off the product of it. These were more buzz singles within pitch, considering that it's not to have offense to Juvenile, but if for some reason he just didn't catch on as full bound in like the 2010s, especially past like the early 2010s. Like from the albums I remember, Beast Mode and Rejuvenation just didn't hit as full bound within the pitch. I mean, they were good albums for what they were, but it's just kind of the pitch compared to like Lil Wayne and to lesser extent BG's kind of popularity around that particular time just didn't catch on as full bound. But it's just the pitch that, you know, once again, Juvenile had been around since 1995. He was the first of the Hot Boys to really start having a solo career, pitches like that. And Birdman, of course, had been around since way back in 93. So it's just the pitch as far as saying just the aspect of just that particular type fair as far as this pitch can happen. But out of the 12 songs on here I look after, I wound up recommending 11. So the only real song I don't recommend in any fashion is just From the Block. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about that one before getting to the single. So the problem with From the Blocks is the pitch. This is one that just felt like a kind of like half-baked kind of just big timer type song. It's just one of those type ones that just feels like a summer jaunt within the pitch. Just typical kind of cruise around just with an aspect, but just not much like flair about it within the aspect behind it. It's just kind of the conduct of this like routine type one. Just something that you typically expect out of like 2010s trap or just something like that. Circa something to listen to between June and August, some of those type fairs. Just really this basic kind of just strut type music within the concept of like a cruise around, but just, I mean, this album has some good nostalgia factors about it. Just kind of realize the concept of how long it's been within these pitches that folks had, for some of these folks, had been almost 30 years. Just kind of the pitch as far as saying it's the aspect, but most of the time the aspect of like the kind of reflect type music is nailed pretty damn well within this product. But this one is just kind of, this was not as affable with the pitch, I'd say, but it's just kind of the product. So, yeah, this album's going to get a 9.75 out of 10. I just look within the tone. I look within the tone as far as saying, so there were 3 singles off this project within the pitch, at least the ones that were promoted within that. I'd say Just Another Gangsta, the title track, was one of those. That's the most popular song off the album, according to Spotify. It has 6 million plays. Broke and Dreams were 2 extra ones that got some appeal as well. So it's just the pitch first. I'm going to talk about Just Another Gangsta first. It's probably one of the best songs of this album. Definite immediate anchor. I agree with the Spotify folk talking about how this is a pretty nice one here. There's like a low-key kind of strip club jump to kind of get off this song. Just a wayside, but kind of red-hot venue noise kind of get here definitely. Just kind of a long way type song with the pitch. But with the pitch, by what I mean by that, this has like some Too Short samples on here. It's just one of those type pitches where, like, when you think of songs by Too Short, like Blow the Whistle, some of those type ones that you could probably catch at like certain strip clubs and venues, pitches like that, but it's just not something you're going to hear in like standard rotation. That's pretty much what I would mean by long way type pitch within it. Just kind of constantly, you just have to have a little bit more roundabout type surfing within the pitches to hear these products, because I do feel like these songs are popular, but just kind of the pitch that Juvenile is kind of in that territory as well, as far as the aspect that's just not. I mean, the unfortunate thing, I mean, Birdman at least had some degree of commercial popularity, but Juvenile in the later years was just kind of like, you'd have to go looking for him more so than the aspect that just like, it's not, I mean, for the most part, most people in like commercial kind of, in terms of more commercial kind of blue collar type aspects, you'd have to say that Juvenile is probably most known for probably Slow Motion and probably Back That Ass Up in like those 2 fashions. But those are probably continue to be his 2 biggest hits. But in terms of like the aspect, the fact that Juvenile does get other hits, he does chart in like the rap charts, and he does have other charting singles like Rodeo and In My Life and some of those type ones, other hits. The songs from like, Ha was a pretty nice one from the follow-up single on 400 Degrees, some of those type pitches. So it's just not a super product that kind of happens, but it's kind of aspect of just searching for further Juvenile type hits, just thinking of long way type songs where you go looking, where you go to like more like hole in the wall kind of strip clubs and white noise kind of venues, pitches like that. They're going to have some of these. This would be a good, nice one kind of have. So this is one of those type ones. Places where you're going to hear Too Short, places where you're going to hear like E40, places where you're going to hear probably like more kind of folks like that kind of have that popularity, but it's just more off the wayside. I'm trying to think some other folks like that can't really, as Full Bound. Folks like Yin Yang Twins, pitches like that. It's just kind of the tone as far as saying, but that's the aspect there. So it's just a real nice one. But it's one of the few songs that has like some venue turnout. For the most part, this album has a lot more organization, just a little bit more display of like song palettes and pitches like that. So if you're looking for more jumpers, or you think this album's going to be infested kind of with like blitzers, pitches like that, this is pretty much like the only real one that's like the night venue slap as far as this pitch can happen. Now there are some vehicle knocks on here, plenty of pitches like that, but it's just the pitch that in terms of being at a venue, having some drinks in your system, so unless that fair is the only real true one. But Broke is the second single, or one of the 3 singles on here. This is a nice one. It's like a throwback kind of 2000 style kind of hustle. Broke is like a throwback kind of 2000 styled hustle product kind of get here. It just reminds of like Jeezy 2005 CD, some of those type pitches, some of those type ones that you would think of, songs like probably My Hood and Go Crazy, some of those type ones, and even songs from later Jeezy like Circulate, some of those type ones. This feels like a Don Cannon type beat, some of those type appeals, one of those type pitches. There's another Jeezy song I'm trying to think of that it really reminds me of. Yeah, basically just like My Hood and Go Crazy, some of those type ones, just pitches like that, just some of those particular type pitches, just kind of those summer crawls within the aspect of it as far as those tones going to happen. Yeah, Broke just reminds like mid 2000s, late 2000s Jeezy songs like Mr. 17.5, Circulate, My Hood, some of those type pitches within the tone behind. A good, nice one for that particular type of appeal, but it's also like some songs also like some city local struts as far as those fairs can have. So it's just from the pitch as far as saying it's the product of it. There's good type one within the surfing aspect. I do like the neighborhood type aspect about this particular album as far as those fairs can have. Just the pitch as far as getting towards it. It's typical of Birdman. He's pretty good at these type ones from back in those retro days. It's kind of the pitch as far as like this, the neighborhood jaunts, like the drugstore type music and like liquor store type music, pitches like that, just neighborhood jaunts, some of that particular type aspect, just picking up like goodies and snacks, lighters, some of those type pitches within the aspect, just the typical type format. Tech Nine, some of these type folks are pretty good at that as well. It's just kind of a pitch, just like just typical kind of springtime summer surf as far as this fair is going to happen. Dreams is a nice one as well. Now this one has a little bit more new era, I'd have to say, within the pitch. It's like a summery kind of poolside radio jingle to kind of get here. Just Juvie and Baby, and by Baby I mean Birdman, that's his other name, is just mixed with like some new era trap. I'd say this very light lick type one within the pitch. It's a pretty good type of peel type one. So this one's a little bit more glissy within the aspect of it, just a little bit more embalmed about it, not quite as nostalgic, just kind of amidst the pitch of like current times. It's kind of amidst the pitch of like current times, just the aspect of like some embrace amongst the particular aspect of having some good standard living within the pitch behind. So good type product. Just reminds of like Sean Kingston, Pop Smoke, some of those type folks within the pitch behind. Just good type aspect for that. So yeah, like I was saying, recommend 11 out of 12 songs, and here's once again the sound gets a 9.75 out of 10. So just go through some of these. Another one that's pretty similar to Dreams would be Breeze. It's like a glazed kind of orange skies, kind of summer malaise kind of get here. Just a basic kind of cold beer and lazy day surfing kind of get within the aspect of it. Just good nostalgia about this particular song. So just the pitch as far as saying, there are a number of songs that kind of have that particular pitch. I'd say Breeze is like that. I'd say Broke to a certain extent it's kind of like that. I'd say basically Newly Exposed, Tonight, Back Then, some of these type pitches with the tone behind it from the bottom, some of these particular, maybe not from the bottom, but Breeze, let's say Breeze, Newly Exposed, Back Then, some of those type ones, Broke within the pitch, within some of those type formats. So it's just within the format, just that particular type of appeal, but it's a good, nice one for it to have that particular aspect. Just real same sort of acoustic lick type one, just from the pitch behind, just simple kind of glaze out, just from the fair behind it, just typical kind of surfing. Another one that's kind of like some of that nostalgia factor would be From the Block. I don't recommend that one, but it's just on the pitch, just a good aspect for some of that here, just to spark one up and just kind of have some after effects that just like that kind of just soulful kind of enjoy. Another song that has some relative kind of good turn up about it would be Filthy Money. That's like a rev kind of buzz single, kind of get within the aspects of it, just a hella bass kind of loud pack for like some OG ride out type music within the tone. I'd say great song to get ripped to as far as those formats kind of go. This one's a little bit more just kind of in your face than pitch behind. It's actually a surprising type one within the aspect. For the most part, this is like a lot more, not so much passe in terms of quality, but just passe in terms of like the veneer about it, as far as just not quite as much middle fingers raised and more kind of sparky and just more fierce and kind of hot personality type within the pitch behind. But this is one that has a little bit more aspect within the particular type tone, and just one that has some jive about it. It's kind of more energized within the pitch as far as that particular fashion. Most of this is kind of more Golden Eyes kind of lays type music, just more kind of simple kind of cold beer and more simple kind of cold beer and grape swisher type music within the tone behind it. But I'd say at least Just Another Gangsta and Filthy Money are at least Just Another Gangsta and Filthy Money are like an excellent 1-2 punch, like some turn up within the fashion behind it. So it's a good type pitch. Today is a pretty quality one as well. Now this is more in like the new era trap type sense, but this is a nice one here. It's like a paced kind of hella jump stunt music kind of getting like some summer malaise that I'd have to say here. It's like late 2010s kind of trap, I'd say, within the aspect of it, just kind of a trendy turn up within the pitch for those formats kind of happen. So this song just feels like something that Rich Homie Quan or Young Thug would have done back in 2014, 2015. So it has that after effects of that particular type product. Not sure who the other trap rapper is on here, but Juvenile handles this particular style pretty well within the pitch. Yeah, so today is just a typical kind of summer surf, just with like that evening haze about it, just kind of the pitch as far as getting towards it, just in like a trap type sense. So hell, jump out that one. Basically a mid-pace type jive within the pitch, just real nice one. It has more energy than you would think it does, but it's just kind of the pitch still has like some of that glimmer about it within the tone. So good, nice appeal for that. 1-2 is a quality one here. Do you like the pitch? This is a necessary song, I'd have to say. This takes it back to like 3 6 Mafia kind of night shift type songs. It's like a night shift kind of late move around to kind of get within the aspects. It's good crawls for like some night work hours within the pitch. It's after products. This one's not quite as much amidst like the products that like more kind of, this one's not as much recreational. This one's a little bit more productive and factory within the pitch behind it. Just a little bit more of like a hustler's makeshift kind of song within the pitch as far as those formats kind of happen. Just late hours pitches like that. Good song to smoke some too within the pitch behind it. It's like some good jive kind of have with your pals pitches like that. Just those old fashioned type ones for like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Some of those type pitches, just smoking with buddies, going for Taco Bell runs. Some of those type pitches, just getting like some late shift kind of errands kind of taken care of within the pitch. So just, I mean, for the most part, this album is not as much full bound amidst like the Clockwork Hustler. I'd say apart from like the song Broke, and then maybe like the song I'm talking about now, the 1-2 song. I'd say for the most part, this is more amidst like this kind of the relief of being done with tasks. Is kind of the embrace of just like some summer balm, but this is like a good pitch of just having a little bit more of stuff to kind of get done within the fair behind this, paying some late bills or just like some late work hours, demon time type traffic within the pitch behind. So it's a good type of appeal. From the bottom is a quality one on here, and it's another new era trap type one within the pitch, pretty hitting type one. It's like a blue blood and graceful kind of new era trap to kind of get like a dope Rich Gang kind of flavor as far as this pitch can happen. So it's just leftover products. It's surprising that Rich Gang made it. There's a couple of times where Birdman actually shouts out Rich Gang on here, so it's within the pitch, despite the fact that they didn't have an album past like 2014 or the unreleased mixtape that came out in 2015. It's a good type pitch that's still in the product of the commotion of it. So it's just within the flavor of it. It's kind of the after effect of It really feels like something Rich Homie, Quan, Young Thug, some of those type folks would have done. Probably to a certain extent, NBA Youngboy, folks like that, Lil Durk, some of those particular type folks within pitch behind good type pitch for that particular song, just a litty type one. So it's just basically Juvenile and like a song that's just more in like that particular type fashion, just getting Juvenile in like a completely different aspect here. He melds pretty well with this particular sound of it. It's good type pitch for that. But yeah, just like a pretty thorough emphasis on like the concept of it being a blue blood type song, just like the pitch, just real like the elegant veneer about this particular song as far as those pitch can happen with the song from the bottom, as far as those aspects can happen with it. So good type conduct for it. Nice song. Tonight is a nice one as well. It's good type pitch here. It's like an emphatic kind of bells, distinguished, kind of mingled, kind of give an aspect here. A little bit more white collar type fashion, kind of some luncheon type music. This early retire, I'd say, with an after effect of it. Just kind of day evening type pitch, more local bound within the fair behind it. It's good type product for like some mingle. Definitely like the product of this particular. It's kind of graceful type appeal, sophistication pitches like that. Just kind of the pitch alike. Something from like deeper than rap without all the hotel kind of pizzazz and debonaireness to the pitch, but just kind of more localized type fashion where it would be like shindig type music pitches like that. It's like some good enjoy to kind of get here. It's kind of some wired jive about that. So it's just kind of the concept of just like a more beleaguered kind of aspect, just like the emphaticness of what's going on was just the pitch of just still being awake enough to enjoy the time. So it's just kind of some real good embrace to have that particular product of it. So it's just good affable type tone within the pitch of just like kind of late afternoon, early evening kind of mingle within the pitch behind it. So just good type fare for that. Just like the energy and just the overall product of that song. Newly Exposed is a quality one as well. This is like an in-between hours kind of traffic and dredge kind of get within the aspect here. It's kind of some extra thoughts about this particular one. Quick times, but just some mild drama about it. Just kind of caught up within the pitch as far as those fairs going to happen with it. Just some litness as far as those the song has some litness as far as those aspects going to happen. So this one just reminds like the typical kind of Mary J. Blige and Neo type pitch, like R&B type drama within the pitch behind it. It's kind of the fair. It's kind of ruffled moments with bells as far as this pitch can happen, just like the conduct of it's kind of ruffled moments with bells, like the fair, like the particular it's like the product of the particular day product as far as this fair's gonna happen with this. It's good type pitch for that as far as this fair's gonna happen. Basically like getting an R&B type song from like the late 2000s, or just a more kind of sophistication, just has more mingle type aspects within it, just kind of within a saunter, or just like probably between I'd say about 345 to about 645 pitches like that. So just like those conduit type moments of just figuring out some fashion. Not so much like a full blown kind of kickback, not so much like a full blown kind of kickback type music like Tonight, but just kind of catching up type music within the tone. Just kind of after effect, touch and bass, some of those particular type fairs. Just the after effect, it's basic daps, some of those type formats. Just what up though pitches. Basic dap, what up though, pitches like that as far as what's going to happen within the tone. So good type of appeal. And then Back Then is a quality one within the pitch, and Newly Exposed is within Bella's type format, not talking homies, but just in the pitch, just saying what up though to Chica as far as what's going to happen, but just in the pitch as far as saying. So Back Then, quality type one here is like a golden and super days kind of nostalgia. Back Then is like a golden and super days kind of nostalgia, and by super days I mean the product of having some smoke in your system. Just a good type of appeal, just the aspect behind it. The song goes pretty well with Tonight, but it's just kind of after effect, just like a relative shindig where it would have some social kind of aspect about it. It's kind of a big wig kind of house party bleed out, I'd have to say here. Some good slime within the after effect of it as far as this first kind of happens. So it's just the pitch as far as saying it's kind of commotion within the after effect of it, probably where there would be punch bowls, pitches like that, just some good hors d'oeuvres or snacks, some of those particular type of appeals that just have like a relative type fashion, or there is just like a Super Bowl party, or just something within that football type fashion, or just something within that football type fashion, or other big moments to kind of have like some good commotion, Thanksgiving party, some of those type aspects within the tone behind it. This has the after effect of like some good, just catching up and just nostalgia type pitches that just like the after effect of just consistent kind of feel good gab as far as what's first gonna have. So good type tones. I look after it. So yeah, the product of this, I think I talked about every song on here. As far as what's first gonna happen. So this album gets a 9.75. The social score I'll go ahead and give probably like a 9.25, 2 out of 10. Now I look within the pitch, it is a fun type product within the pitch. I just would say it's just kind of the product that it's just kind of the fact that in terms of the after effect, I mean this new era trap definitely suits it within the pitch, but for the after effect of folks who know Juvenile from back in those days who are looking for something sparky or something, I mean there's not really much reminders of Juvenile's prior hits. I mean you do get a little bit of Birdman reminders from like the City Strut type songs like From the Block and Broke and some of those type ones within the pitch. But if you're looking for something that's like a revised kind of something like Slow Motion or Nolia Clap, some of those type ones just within the pitch, some of those type hits, just paying attention to some of those type ones. Animal or some of those type pitches, In My Life, some of those particular type of appeals. Just doesn't have the jump as full bounce. Not to say this is a bad record whatsoever, because it is getting a 9.75, but it's just kind of pitches as far as the social type moments. It just depends. The nostalgia factor just depends on how far back you go with some of these type folks. If you're finding this album within a relative type sense and you come to this not knowing more than a few hits, if you only know like 2 or 3 hits by Juvenile, this probably won't have as much of an impact. It's the same thing with Birdman, considering that he had not had an album out since 2013, which he was kind of a product of more the early 2010s and the 2000s. So it's just within the pitch, you have to have a little bit of knowing within the pitch. This is, like I said, this is a long way type album, just more off to the wayside within the pitch as far as getting towards it, but I look after it. It does have some quality on here, but it just doesn't have the jumpers. This particular album just doesn't have the full bound kind of social jumpers within the aspect. It has some good moments for like some relative commotion, some white collar moments, some luncheon moments, pitches like that, some good cruise arounds, some of that type of some good late 2010s trap, pretty bass thumping, just jump in, good sound system, good stunt type music, but just kind of the pitch as far as saying just the jive about it in the homies type fashion with some of the jive about it in the homies type fashion within some of the type fare is just not as electric within the tone. But so it's 9.25. But in terms of the future, like I said, this is the most recent Birdman album as far as what's first going to happen, minus the 2021 hosted project that he did with NBA Youngboy. So I reviewed that one, so I'm pretty much done with Birdman. Got a number of more Juvenile projects I'm going to get to. There's some ones down the line I'm going to get to. Those are going to be showing up soon enough within the pitch. That's the product of it. Just going to get to here. Relative classic for the most part. Pretty much on the cusp of being like a full-bound classic. Definitely pretty noteworthy for late 2010s, like the aspect. Definitely pretty noteworthy late 2010s album within the pitch behind just like the aspect, like this particular electricity. So it's just the fairest for us saying pretty damn impactful within the pitch. Definitely has plenty of hits on here, but it's just kind of conduct. Definitely could have used another electric jumper, like just another Gangsta the title track. But other than that, this is pretty dynamite type late 2010s and just overall trap type album that does a lot of things correctly. Good nostalgia also, and just overall nice red hot ticket.